So we have Marc Levy on today from Norsemont Mining. I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to have this interview.
Yeah, look forward to it. Very excited.
Would you be able to give us a quick introduction of your career path, what you've done, and what led up to Norsemont Mining?
For sure. Been involved in the mining sector since 2003. So it's been 23 years in mining, and founded Norsemont 1.0, which we sold to Hudbay Minerals in 2011 for $520 million. And we've exited a few others, including Petakia and Rio Silver and Cole Hunter that we did. So we've exited $1 billion of mining companies in 2011. And I got involved in a few other companies that we founded and sold, and some of them are got involved in a different sector where I was the founder of a unicorn called Aurora Cannabis here in Canada. So we got distracted for a few years when mining wasn't so popular. And then 2019, our family office, we decided we needed to get exposure to gold. We thought there were some challenges coming into the markets with interest rates being where they were, as well as debt loads we thought were pretty high in 2019. We didn't know that 2020 and COVID was going to take debt loads tenfold. And we wanted exposure to gold. And the best way I knew how was to buy a gold mine. So and here we are with Norsemont 2.0.
There you go. So I believe that precious metals have been getting all this activity because we have quantitative, it was an anticipation of the dollar dropping due to quantitative easing. So I personally was all over gold and silver back during tightening in 2022 and 2023. Would you be able to explain to someone who isn't familiar with Norsemont what you guys do as a company?
For sure. So Norsemont owns the Chocolimpe mine, which is a project in northern Chile. It was formerly the third largest gold producer in Chile back in the 80s and 90s, and it was owned by Shell, the oil and gas company. I had to acquire it in 2019 from Copec. And Copec is the largest conglomerate in Chile. They own gas stations, grocery stores, and they're big investors in copper in Peru, right near my old project. And they wanted out of the gold mining business in 2019. So we picked up this asset, which has a really nice infrastructure that we've got a 3,000 ton a day plant. We've got backup generators, power, water, which is really key in Chile. Aid to our effluent plant. We have a camp. We have a lab. So we've acquired about $200 million worth of infrastructure. And we also had a resource already there. So we have a multi-million ounce resource. So for me, this was a great opportunity to get into the gold mining sector in a really good jurisdiction. I think geopolitically, Chile is now #1 on the charts. And, you know, where better to find a gold mine than a former gold mine producer, right? So that kind of led us down the path. And we're slowly moving towards a production scenario with that.
Great. So we recently had some phase 3 results out, which that news dropped, I believe it was about 2 weeks ago. You got a lot of activity on the stock. Would you be able to briefly go over that?
For sure. So we had announced our phase 3 drill program in early November. We started drilling in December, and we've got some of the first 3 holes went out to the market, 2 weeks ago, I guess it was. And we hit some pretty amazing intercepts of 109 meters of 1.1 grams of gold, 94 meters of 1.26 grams of gold, all from surface. So that's really critical, is our mineralization starts at surface and then goes deeper. And typically at depth, our resource does increase, which is nice. And those were the first 3 holes of the 7 holes that we drilled in November, December. And we are looking to continue drilling this year as well.
So we have phase 4 coming up, I believe, in April.
Yeah, so we're going to resume drilling in April because we have to shut down due to the winter altiplano weather. So that time there's a year, January, February, March, we've got lightning storms, so we don't want to be drilling because a drill acts as a lightning rod. It can be dangerous, even though you can see it coming hours in advance. We just decided not to drill and risk anything. So we look to resume drilling in April, and we're anticipating to drill about 13,000 more meters of drilling, and we'll be spending about $12 million on drilling, metallurgy, engineering, and we also had commenced our environmental study in January, which will be due in December.
Great, great. So, OTC traders, a lot of the NASDAQ traders and the investors, they're not familiar with uplistings. But for the people who are familiar with that, they would probably be very interested to know if you guys have any plans of uplisting.
For sure. Right now, we're traded on the OTCID, which is not the best place to be traded. And I think certain brokerages are more challenging to trade on that exchange. And for a company our size, we shouldn't be there. So we anticipate applying for an uplisting next quarter onto the New York Stock Exchange. I'm a big believer that we need to get on a worldwide scene and have access to everybody in the world to be able to invest in our company. As well, I think the liquidity profile and the access to capital for the US markets is a lot better than the Canadian markets, and valuations we would get on an uplisting, so I'm told, would be a big increase in valuation, up to 40% increase in valuation, which some of the analysts and bankers have told me. So it makes sense for us and our shareholders. And a lot of the money we raised 22 million last year, predominantly European and US investors, not even Canadian really. So obviously it makes sense for us to be traded on a more senior exchange like that.
That if that happens, that would be huge for the company, and the exposure you would get would be fantastic. My personal forecast, for gold in 2026, by the end of 2026, if we get this new Fed chair, and this new Fed chair is going to do what they say they're going to do, and there's going to be some heavy QE, I expect the dollar to fall a bit. And if the dollar falls a bit, I expect metals to, since they usually have an inverse relationship, I expect metals to possibly have more upside. What are your forecasts for gold by the end of 2026?
So, Goldman Sachs, TD Securities, Bank of America, JP Morgan, every single big bank out there is projecting $6,000 gold this year. I'm a big believer that we can attain $6,000 gold in the next 12 months. And I think in the next 24 months, $7,000 gold is really something reasonable and achievable. And I think, I'm a big gold bug, as you are, but I think I'm a bit more on the conservative side, because obviously you've got really smart guys like Pierre Lassonde and Eric Sprott calling for $17,000 gold. And the geopolitical situation and macroeconomic situation of the world right now, those things are possible, but if they happen, God help us. I'm sure you and I are well positioned with gold investments and gold stocks, but it's scary if we start going $15,000, $20,000 gold here. That's going to be interesting if that happens.
It's wild to hear you say being conservative, or anyone say that for 6,000 to 7,000 an ounce, but in reality, it's not that far out. So. Yeah,
and we've tested higher prices. Like we've been at 5,500. And one of the unique things, in relation to Norsemont, just to share with all your viewers, is our cash costs in Chile for a typical leaching operation. Typically, you see $700, $750 an ounce. Could be lower even. So for us, it really doesn't even matter at $5,000 gold, $6,000 gold, $7,000 gold. We are so profitable. It's insane. And I can't even picture 10, 15, 20. I don't even want to think about that, because I wouldn't even know what to do with all that money. So, and all the gold producers are making a lot of money right now. So it's a very interesting time for people.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the viewers that want to follow along, what's your website? What's the ticker? Where can they follow the story?
Sure. So www.norsemont, NORSEMONT.com. And our ticker symbol in Canada, we're on the CSC NOM. And on the OTCID, we're NRRSF. One thing we didn't talk about, just high level for your viewers, is um, we've got over 2.7 million ounces of gold in indicated and inferred category in the first 70 meters of our deposit from the ground. And typically these deposits go down 300 meters. High sulfidation epithermal systems. People can look it up on Google or ChatGPT. So we're projecting to double or triple the size of our resource really easily here, based on typical geology of these systems. And we have drilled down 200 and 300 meters, and we continually encounter mineralization. So there's a huge upside in the size of the company. And as well, we are, I said we're slowly going to production. I think we're sprinting to production. We're anticipating to get into production in 2027, which would peg us as a very near-term producer, but we're not valued as a near-term producer yet. We've got to get out there, tell the story with guys like you, hopefully do an uplisting on a more senior exchange. We'll get better recognition, better valuation. So a lot of positive things happening, especially this month and this quarter. I think we'll see a lot of interesting news flow about our drill results, as you've talked about, metallurgical results, environmental stuff that we're working on, and engineering. So it's a transformational year for us, and it's a good situation for us to be in.
Absolutely. And I want to thank you for giving us the time to do this interview today. And everybody watching, this sounds like a fantastic opportunity, especially before a possible uplisting and before quantitative easing that should be starting in May. Marc, thank you for giving us the time today.
Appreciate you giving us the opportunity to share our story with all your viewers.
Absolutely. Thanks.